What's up, everybody? Get my situation here back. We're back. How's everybody doing? My mom will probably bust in here pretty soon because it's dark in here. So, you can't be in this house in the dark. So, can't do that. Cheryl, what's going on out there? Be safe out there. Um, yeah, we want to get out of truck. In fact, we got a couple of truck drivers in the group. I don't know what happened to Granville. He was coming. He then slacked up. I don't know what's going on with Granville. Poppy Incel. I don't know what's going on with Poppy Incel. Poppy Incel, if you're out there, if you're listening, Trucker 192, come back. The game needs you, sir. But Cheryl, yeah, listen, on a daily basis. I really what I encourage people to do is just to listen without the visuals and then go back and listen to understand with the visuals and then run through it one more time with your hands on a thing. Yeah. Um, what's going on, Smart Money TV? What's going on, Smart Chick TV? How you doing? D, I see you in the back. Queen Lee, welcome back. You've been missing for a minute. I know you've been over there on Eric's joint. Natasha, what's going on? Don, what up? Stacy G, what's going on? For those that missed yesterday, we made the announcement for the boot camp. We'll do another info session this week. It'll probably be on a Friday. I'm not sure what time on Friday, but it'll probably be something like eight or so. Um, but we'll most definitely do another info session. Um, in terms of what episode we're on 112. 112 episodes. 112 episodes. We should have been more. We should have did more. But I put so much info into this. Look at D. D is like, it should have been more. It should have been more, D. I thought it was me. D, we should have had more. We should have did more. More for the community. So we should have did. But we didn't. Right? I gotta get back to our regular schedule programming Mondays. Is it Sundays? I forget. No, it's security Sundays, programming Mondays. I gotta get back to it. I gotta get back to our Tuesday. I gotta get back to it. I did. I'm celebrating the wins, D. I'm celebrating the wins. But we gotta have more, man. More. We need more. More. If you was like me, I saw this post and they asked what did people do in the 90s at night? It was like, what did y'all do in the 90s? Well, I think it was in the 90s period when you went outside because it wasn't no social media. You know what we did? I tell you what I did during the summer. The Price is Right, Atlanta Braves baseball, Atlanta football, PBS, butterflies in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Um, and if you were like me too, use PBS fans. 3, 2, 1, contact is the answer, is the secret. That's what we did. No, it was not recorded, right? We did Reading Rainbow, and if you only had one TV in the house, you watch The Young and the Restless, and at night you watch Falcon Crest in Dallas. I watched The Dukes of Hazard, The Incredible Hulk, Wonder Woman. You went to the movies, Blockbuster weekend. You go to the movies to see E.T. and Star Wars. You eat popcorn at the place. You used to go to Pizza Hut back when Pizza Hut had the pizza bar, and you go inside a Pizza Hut and you sit down and you eat pizza before you go to the movies on the pizza bar. That's what you did back when pizza was actually tasty. Pizza Hut's nasty now. It's nasty. You go outside, you ride a bike, you skateboard, you jump rope, you fall down, you get some scratches and some scars, you get battle wounds, battle scars, fights in the neighborhood. So come over here with it. My mama said if you hit me, I can hit you back. My mama said I better not come home with no lick, with crying with no lick. She said if I'm out here, I gotta fight. So just be prepared. I don't like you because you got long hair. I don't like you. I don't like you. My mama said your mama nasty. My mama said she know your mama since high school and y'all been nasty all y'all life. Monopoly, Uno, Connect Four, Shoots and Ladders. Saw that. You did all of that. Yep, $6 million man. You did all of that. Went to the movies. You went to the mall. Anybody go to the mall just to hang out? Y'all just walk around the mall and meet up with your friends. Did any of the ladies or any of the women go or the men go to the mall, like you went to one school but the girl you like went to another school and y'all would meet at the mall? Did y'all pass notes and be like, oh, I met this little girl from another school and they gonna be at the mall and we go to the mall? Me and my friend, we would used to watch public broadcasting network, right? And there used to be this little teen show that would come on, kind of similar to Teen Summit. But they would come on and it would be these guys from Mays High School that would come on and they would be on there. They would be laughing, talking, and joking and dancing and stuff like that. And me and my homegirl said, we want to meet them because we was like, that one cute and that one cute. And we figured out what school they went to, and we end up getting, I don't know how we end up getting a message to them, but the guys that we saw on the TV show met us at South DeKalb Mall, and we went to the movies, and we hung out with them all day. And ironically, we still communicate now. We still communicate now. They went off to Southern and were band directors and dancers for celebrities and stuff like that. um hanging out at the mall. You used to go to the mall to get, oh, I'm gonna go there, we're gonna meet, and we're gonna get us something to eat. We're gonna go get us a little pizza, then we're gonna go to the movies. Oh, the new shoes is coming out. What new shoes they got at Foot Locker? I gotta get me an outfit. I gotta get me my shoes, and then I gotta get a little shirt or something to match my outfit. Then when you got older, you start going to what? Express. You go to Express and get your clothes because now you're a little older. You gotta get you a little outfit for your job. You look cute, fly. You got your Jordache. You got your polos, your bows. I was a broke college student. I was lucky to get Hunt Club from JC Penney's with the big horse on it. Yep, yep. The mall was in the burbs. Yeah, we go downtown. Hanging out downtown. Now, hanging out downtown in Atlanta back in the day was a little different than what it is now. Hanging out downtown in Atlanta back in the day was everybody from New York that came from New York hung out downtown. So you got your ciphers. You got your 5 percenters. You got your you got your Israelites. You got the people that want to come down and like, we got the trees, my guy. We finna get in the cipher and we finna beatbox and we finna kick a rhyme or two. Then you got the ones that came down from New York that realized that you needed a car in Atlanta and it wasn't good. So everybody who came from New York worked at Lenox Mall. And everybody went to Lenox. You had the game room. If you didn't go to the game room, you walked around the mall, you went to the movies. If you didn't go to the movies, the other place to hang out in Atlanta back in the day was the CNN Center. Because the CNN Center also had a game room. It had a big game arcade room, and it also had movies. You could go watch movies there, and it was just like a place to hang out. You had a big food court, the whole nine. So it's just one of them things that you would do. You would go in and you would hang out. Yep, merry-go-round. What's it? What was it? Rainbow. Is that the other one? Rainbow merry-go-round. I think now I think the new one is Wet Seal and H&M. Wet Seal and H&M is the new ones now. For the plus size ladies, it was Lane Bryant and Torrid and the Avenue for the plus size ladies. Oh yeah, the limited. I remember that. Bongo jeans. Oh, it was this girl that wore bongo jeans. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. She made me not want to wear them. I was like, cause she used to have, this whole thing. You know how you meet some girls growing up when you were growing up, they had that what we call that stank walk. They had that stank dank walk. Ooh, they had that stank walk. She would wear them bongo jeans and her walk would just be stank. I was like, I don't want them. If the bongo jeans gonna make you walk and act like that, I don't want them. Mm-mm. Just old stank dank walk. Mm-mm. Back in the day, you wear your Felines, you got your Adidas, if you had your British Knights, you got your Air Force. If you're from Atlanta, you got your Air Force Ones and your Felines. Forever, I love Atlanta. And then if you didn't, I wasn't a K Swiss person. I think that's a Detroit, Chicago thing. K Swiss, I ain't like that. Oh yeah, the Gap was huge. You go in the Gap and get your clothes. Abercrombie and Fitch, Eddie Bauer. Growing up, we would go to Eddie Bauer. Um, you also growing up. Oh, I don't know if y'all did this growing up. Okay, so this is where I think a lot of things went wrong for men and women after high school. I'm gonna tell you my theory. This is Tam's theory. This is Tam's theory. Okay, so back in high school, the cheerleaders will always decorate the boys' lockers and then bring and bake cookies for them and bring them stuff, right? So they were always catering to the boys in high school, right? And the boys would like, she can wear my Letterman jacket. She can wear my jacket. And so she would wear his jacket. We were conditioning grown men, we were conditioning boys into adulthood and women as well too, to always cater to that man. And so by the time he get out of high school, he looking for that same girl to wear his jacket, get him some cookies, milk and cookies, a gift, and the whole nine. Now, I don't know if y'all celebrated Valentine's Day in high school, right? So one of the big things was the Great American Cookie Company, where you would buy cookies, you would buy the big cookies, the big ones, and you would bring it to your girlfriend, or the guy would bring it, or the girl would get one and bring it to her boyfriend, and have decorate his locker. I love you, blah blah blah. What's going on, Granville? Welcome back. But I'm just saying, my theory is by the time they have been catered through from high school to adulthood, they're always looking for that woman that's gonna wear his jacket, bake him some fresh cookies, and then come in and make sure that uh his stuff is taken care of. Like you were auditioning. Girls were already auditioning. They was already auditioning. You was already auditioning. Right? So that's my thought process. That's what I think. And the boys were auditioning too. Cause if he can run up and down the field and he got good grades and he could come by and pick me up and we could go out to eat. I was already auditioning. You already auditioning. You was already auditioning for your husband and already auditioning for your wife. And yeah, right, Evan, with no ring. With no ring. With no ring. You was already auditioning. He gonna be my man. He my man. I've been knowing him since, and I got some friends now. They've been married since high school. They've been married since high school. Like they got older and they got married. Like they've been knowing each other since high school. They've been dating each other since they were 12 years old. Been dating each other since 12 years old. Right? So it happens. I think we will already be in condition. Right? So yeah, I think also another thing growing up that we did was, now this is when it got real cool. Our communication skills was up here. You know why? Because we talked on the phone. We talked on the phone way before the party line, way before call waiting. You talked on the phone. And you got on the phone and you be like, what time you gonna be at home? Oh, I'm gonna be home at this time. Okay, I'm gonna call you. And y'all you could just have left school and just left from being outside, and y'all get back on the phone and talk to each other. And then when you got call waiting and you got three-way calling, well, I'm gonna call this person because that person got three-way, and then you call another person, then that person call another person, and then the other person can call another person, and that other person can call another person, and all y'all on the phone just talking, just talking. And when you know what happened? What happened next? Somebody mama pick up, get off this phone, I need to use it. Get off this phone, I need to use it. Or somebody hang it up, snatching phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, why y'all treat me like that? Why you treat me so bad? I don't know why, baby. Why you treat me so bad? Right? Remember all that stuff back in the day? You communicate. You would talk on the phone. You be sitting up. You hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up. You hang up. Y'all fall asleep on the phone together. If you didn't fall asleep on the phone together, y'all sit up there and be like, I gotta go. My mama coming. Hold on. You hide the phone and pretend like you sleep, but the phone be there like, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I'm gonna get in trouble. Don't say nothing. Right? Be on the phone 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Gotta go to school. Y'all remember that? That's what we were doing in the 90s. Everybody want to know 80s, 90s, what we was doing. That's what we was doing. On the phone. Talking. Just talking. Yo, mama, you gonna give me a kiss today? You gonna kiss me today? You said you was my girlfriend. You gonna give me a kiss today? You gonna hold my hand today? The boys walk the girls to the classroom. He carrying her backpack. He walking her to class. She my girl. They holding hands. Yeah, used to pass notes. Check yes if you like me. Check no if you don't. Check maybe. Oh, he cute. Oh, she cute. What you say? Hide and seek, then hide and go get it. Whatever y'all want to call it. Then if you didn't do, if y'all weren't holding hands, y'all used to just make fun of each other, be like, why you always picking on me? What is that, Granville? Tell her, give me my LaFix, baby. What is LaFix? What is that? Granville, what is that? That sound like that could be Louisiana, New Orleans. Is that what that is? Oh, my kisses. Okay. But yeah. So back in the day, that's what we did. You didn't have to guess whether a guy liked you or didn't like you. You knew. You didn't have to guess whether a girl liked you or didn't like you. You knew. It was simple. You get a phone number, you call them. You didn't wait 5 days or 2 or 3 days. You call her, and 9 times out of 10, you probably already met her mama because she done been up to the school and she done been up at some function. In the same way, you done met his mama because she done been up to the school and been up to a function, and you know her mama don't play, and you know his mama don't play. You know that you can't call her house after 11 o'clock. You know her mama gonna you know not to call her house at no 11 o'clock. Tell me, hey, Miss Banks, I want to talk to Tameika. What do you want to talk about? What you want? So you didn't do that unless you had your own line. Now, if you had your own line, your mama had money. If you had your own line, your mama had money. You got one phone in this house. We ain't paying two bills. Or you had your own line and it had a special ring. You had one phone and it had two lines on it and it had a special ring. Like if it rung twice, that's for you. If it rung one time, that's the main line. Right? Those are what we did back in the day. We had fun. We talked to each other. Now it's like you give your number to somebody and they gonna text you to death. So you listen, listen. Don't text somebody talking about, so tell me about yourself in a text. What you mean? Tell you about myself. You know how much that is, how much texting that is? Text come all out of order. They don't be in order. You ain't responding to what I think you responding to. Just pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone. What's the problem? Natasha, you said I was blessed. My mom got my brother and I our own personal lines with call waiting and three-way, just so we didn't have to fight over the phone with my stepsisters. Yeah, I was the only child, so I didn't get no uh on my own line. And my mama liked to talk on the phone. Oh my goodness, you couldn't talk on the phone with my mama. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh God. Let me tell you, one time my this happened several times. My mom and my aunt and her friends, for work friends, they could get on the phone at 7 o'clock and be on there 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You be like, why you on the phone? Why y'all still talking about the same thing? Then y'all work together. Then y'all see each other at work. They be going for hours. Oh my gosh, she talk on the phone for hours. And then had the nerve to get mad because my friends called. Because they want to talk to me. They talk about what they want to talk about. Same thing you talking about to your friends. What happened today? Same thing. Can I talk to my friends? And then I had a stalker. So my stalker was calling my aunt on the phone back to back to back to back to back. And finally my mom was like, let me get off the phone so this boy can talk to me because he is not gonna stop. So finally I talked to him. He's like, I was worried. Your mama been on the phone forever. I was like, I know. I said, I'm good though. I said, but you can't keep calling here like that. I was like, cause my mama will block you. Was it star 60 to block, star 69 to call back? Star 69, don't call and hang up. Don't call and hang up. Oh, Tracy, they be on the phone forever. Forever. Oh my God. And you know what? I'm grown and I be in here on the phone and it may be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And my mom be like, who you talking to? I said, I pay the bill. 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 I'm talking to who I want to because I pay the bill. She was like, you need to get off the phone. No, I don't. Because I pay the bill. She's talking about. And then I get off the phone. And then I get right back on it. I'm like, how can I help you? What is it that you need? You don't want nothing. I pay the bill. That's what it is. Telling me. Psh, psh, psh. Hmm. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Episode 112. 112. Episode 112. Hey, 112. We got a little giver. Cupid doesn't lie. We gotta give a 112 shout out. We gotta give a 112 shout out. I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Girl, I need to know where we stand. Hey, you need to give 112 shout out. Hey, the one Tweezy. We gotta give a 112 shout out and a one Tweezy shout out. Hey, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you know about 112 the group and 112 the club, then you know, you know. And if you know about 112 the club, then you ought to know, you know, you know. Free, what you say? OG, I remember when I used to be on the phone for hours making stories with my girlfriend. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's the other one before we get into it? What's the name of the little game where you would do it like this? You would open it up like this, and it would say you're gonna be married with 2 kids and who you gonna marry. What was that? I forget the name of that game. All right. Yeah, the look. I don't know that little game. You would do it. You one of the games you would do it like this, and then another game you would fold the notebook paper up and whatever you pick. Like if you pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it would be. I don't remember that game, but it would be one of them little games you do like that. You be like, oh, you gonna get married to John, and y'all gonna have 2 kids, and y'all gonna have this, right? I remember that, and I remember the little game you would have. Of course, um everybody every year had their high school yearbooks, the hood origami. Yeah. And I don't know if y'all were like me. I was the candy lady. I was the candy lady. I sold candy in high school. I sold chips and candy and drinks in high school. I sold chips, candy, and drinks in high school. I used to carry a big bag. It was called the lure bag. Let me see if I can find lure bag. Because that's what it was called. Lure bag. Let's see if I can find lure bag. It was an old school bag. It was huge. It was a big old tote bag. Yeah. One of these bags right here. It said mine was bigger. I had a bigger bag. This bag right here, D. This one. I had one, but mine was big. It was huge, and I would buy candy. I would buy Snickers, Reese's, and stuff like that. I would work. We had an upstairs and downstairs. I would have my bag stored downstairs, and then I would separate it out, and then put one upstairs and another locker. I paid somebody for their locker to use their locker. I was like, what locker can I use? And then I was like, okay, well, okay, now I'm gonna give you part of this, man. You gotta help me sell this. I gotta get this sold by 12 o'clock. I can't take this back to me because I gotta re up. Gotta re up. I would sell Jolly Ranchers. I had candy. I had gum. I had chips. This back when Cool Ranch Doritos first came out. Cool Ranch. Everybody wanted Cool Ranch Doritos. We had regular Doritos. You had your sour cream and your sour cream chips. And then and then the other thing that everybody liked was the blow pops. Everybody liked the blow pops, right? And everybody be like, where y'all getting this candy from? I had a teacher walk up on me one day, and the teacher was like, I need some chips. I said, well, what you want me to do about it? He's like, I know you selling chips and candy and stuff. I was like, I ain't selling no chips and candy. I was like, now I know who do sell it. And I was like, I can go get you some chips and candy, but you gotta give me some money. And like, you gotta give me an extra dollar because I'm making this round for you. The teacher walked right up on me. So the teacher gave me some money. They was like, you gonna actually charge me an extra dollar? I said, you want me to go get it from the person that's the plug. So yeah. So teachers pay extra. Teachers pay extra. When it got the teacher something to eat and stuff like that, got him some candy, got him some stuff. And then next thing I know, another teacher came up to me. I was like, they was like, we know you said. I said, okay, well, what is it that y'all like? So I can make sure I bring that tomorrow. And so I had my mom go to the store and be like, the teacher said they want this, that, and the other. All right, so I go and get that. I make my rounds. I get to school early. I make my rounds to the teachers, and then I make my rounds to the kids. And then I used to sell individual Jolly Ranchers and stuff like that. I put them in a Ziploc bag, put Jolly Ranchers in there. You get five for a dollar or something like that. Here you go, five for a dollar. Here you go, Jolly Ranchers. Here you go. I sell that. And then at lunch, people be like, "Oh, I ain't gonna eat lunch. Let me get some chips and stuff for lunch." Then I got busted. Then they took all my candy. They took all my stuff. I had to come back home. They was like, if you come back in here with it again, we're gonna suspend you. I was like, you gonna suspend me for people that need food? They need this. Yeah. Yep. Yep. We went into the beeper phase. But let's get into it. That was food. There was food for the kids who ain't had no food. That was food. All right, let's start it off. Investing. All right, so I was doing some research and I was thinking about, not just the type of investor you are, but what are the different types of investing. So there's active investing, passive investing, and lazy investing. So lazy investing, let's talk about it. Lazy investing was or is lazy investing is long-term investment strategy that requires minimal effort and time commitment from investors. And usually, most people, like I said before, those aristocrats and not dividends, those aristocrats and kings, people usually invest into those. However, people will look for ETFs more than would individual stocks. So lazy investing is really looking at ETFs, right? But there's also a lazy investing portfolio that you can create, right? So I wanted to kind of dive off a little bit into that, but I want to show this first. Let me do this. Let me grab this one here. Um, because I think the visual helps you. So this one here, I ran across this, and in this here it says, "How can I be a millionaire if I only make 40K?" Right now, we can go over this how many different ways we want to, right? Whether you can live off of 40K, blah blah blah. But let's just do some math on this, right? So it says if you take home from your job 40K a year and spend 80% and invest 20% in an index fund earning 10% return over the course of 40 years, you will have a tax free of 3.5 million. But this does not account for 40K and a wife, 40K and children and active children, or kids who are sick, or someone who is sick in the family. It doesn't account for that. So let's really do some math on this, right? Let's break out the calculator. All right, let's break out the old handy dandy calculator. Okay, they say 40%. I mean, 40K and spend 80%. So let's go 40,000 times point 0.8. So you're spending 32,000. So that means you got $8,000. Now listen, this does not really account for after taxes, right? It doesn't account for after taxes. So let's be realistic. Let's go with some realistic numbers to me. And let's multiply that by point 0.8. Well, hold on. Let's do 40,000 times, and I knew that was going to do that. Let's do 40,000 times point 0.7. So 28,000, and then let's multiply that by point 0.8. All right. So roughly $6,000 is what I'm calculating, because the other one was 28,000. And let's go back and can we get my history? I'm just curious, make sure I'm right. Yeah, it's not showing me the history. Yep. So I think it was 28,000. Double verify here. Times point 0.7 is 28,000. So 28,000 is where you start from. And multiply that by point 0.8, 22,400. And let's do that minus 28,000. So 5,600. So 5,600 you're investing over 40 years. So let's go play with the Investorpedia. I mean investor.gov, right? And let's get the calculator here. Um let's see what it looks like. Okay. So we saying we're gonna start with an initial investment of 5,600, and let's go back to the calculator and say what is 5,600 divided by 12. 46, so 467. So let's say you got a monthly contribution of 467, and that's gonna be over 40 years. We saying 10%, and annually, and let's calculate. Okay, to me that's more realistic. 2.7, right? And here's why I did it that way. Because on that 40,000, you're gonna get taxed on that. Like you're gonna get taxed on 40,000, right? You're gonna have to I mean, you're not gonna not get taxed. They're gonna take taxes out. And the tax and your investment is gonna come pre-tax, right? For into your 401k. But then you got to find something that's actually returning 10%, right? So let's just say it could be anywhere between 2.7 to 3.5, right? But what I wanted to showcase here was, and you can still do this, is The more you make, the more you can invest. That's what I want to show. The more you make, the more you can invest, right? So let's blow this up and read what he is saying. Put up some more because that's kind of small on y'all screen. All right, becoming a millionaire really is this simple. Live on less than what you make. Invest the difference. Let compound growth do the work over time. Why doesn't everyone do this? Well, Warren Buffett says because nobody wants to get rich slowly, right? So again, active, passive, and lazy, right? Be a lazy investor, but let it invest over time, right? Compound over time. Don't time the market. Have time in the market, right? Don't try to time it, but have time in the market, right? All right, the math is as simple. Assumes a 10% return on your investment. That's about what the US stock market has averaged over the last 100 years. Sure, this doesn't take into account inflation, but it also assumes no raises over those 40 years, as most people are likely to get an increase in their income and investments over time. An index fund is a simple way to invest in an entire market. You said check out his other posts. A Roth IRA is special, an individual retirement account. Any money invested in your Roth IRA is never taxed again. That's how you end up with over 2 million in a retirement tax free. Spend a little less during your working years and you get to be wealthy at retirement. All right? So I want to show that to you because it is absolutely doable. But if you have a wife and kids and you have like insurance you got to pay for, because this does not account for the insurance and so forth, I want you to also be aware of those things as well too. So the 40K, you could do it, but you may need a little bump. And again, it doesn't include the pay of the increase of pay over time over those 40 years. Because I wouldn't expect for you to be in the market or at a job for 40 years and never get a pay increase. Now you might not get a 5% or 10%, but you're going to get some type of pay increase. And also your skill set should increase so that you can find another job that's paying you more so you can save more as you move up, right? So I wanted to bring that up with lazy investing. Now on his website is actually cool. Let me go here and let me make it smaller. I hate when they be on the thing like that. But here's another one: how to prioritize money, right? What to do with $1,000? Max out your 401k up to a match. Pay off non-mortgage debt. Save an emergency fund. Invest so you're on pace for your healthy retirement. Save for a house down payment and kids college. Invest more and pay off your mortgage, right? Just different phases. But I even take it one step further. I really do think everyone needs to have a year to 2 years for an emergency fund. I think your 401k match works, but I also want to put this out here too. That looks small on the screen. I also want to point out here on the 401k match. And I talked about this on Wednesday's meetup. If you don't know about Wednesday's meetup, meetup.com/women in Linux. You need to sign up there. I do a lot of talking. I invite people over. We do have some special meetups coming. This week we had Petty Kai on to talk about how he came to be with his clearance and so forth and so on, and how he's doing. And he's in college, and he's on his way. He's already six figures, but he's well on his way to make more, and go from there. All right. So what I want to say about this 401k is you ought to find and start looking for places that do more than 6% match. They do exist. There are places out there that do more than 6% match. Now, Boulder, the University of Boulder, Colorado does 200% match in their 401k. They do 200%. There are other places that do 10%, and then some other places that do, and when I say 10%, let me back up. There are places out there, and I talked about this on Wednesday, but I'm gonna reiterate this for those that heard it. Bear with me. Pull out my calculator. All right. So there are places out there. Let's say uh, you make $100,000 a year. That's your starting salary for this new company you're going to. And they say, no matter what you do, no matter what you look like, no matter what you got going on, we're gonna put 25% of your salary into your 401k. So they're gonna put a minimum of 25% of your salary into your 401k, right? And then on top of that, you can still contribute your max of 22,500. So in your first year, you could have had $47,500 inside of your 401k. Now, let's get into what that can do for you. So, you max out your 401k in the first year. You got 25,000 going into it. You put 22 in there. You got 4750. Now, usually when it comes down to this in your 401k, you can take out money to purchase a home. You can use that money for a down payment, right? So imagine if you in your first year could get 47,500. Now let's multiply that by two. So in 2 years, you can have almost $100,000. Now I didn't say it didn't grow, it didn't fluctuate. Then I'm just total contributions in. So in your first year, you got $100,000 into your 401k. Now after you got that $100,000 into your 401k, and you need to get a down payment for a home, you can go to your 401k and get that down payment. Now it's a loan that you have to pay back over 5 years, and usually around 5%. I've seen some as high as 9%. I've seen some as high as 9%. I've seen some as low as 5%. Right. So with that being said, now you have your money for your down payment to your house or to your multi unit or whatever the case may be within 2 years. So when you're out here in the job market looking, look for jobs that have benefits such as they automatically put 10% into your 401k. They, regardless of what you do, they automatically put 25% into your 401k, regardless of what you do, right? And I'm not talking about a match. This is different than a match. This is not a match. This is, I'm the employer, you're working for me. We're gonna put 25,000 into your 401k. Now, let's switch the deal here. I said 100,000. Let's say you made 200,000, right? And they're gonna put 25% into your 401k. So that's 50,000 that they're gonna put in. Plus you put in your 22,500 because you're gonna max it out because you're adulting now, and you paying bills, and you're adulting, and you're doing adult things, and you responsible. Yep. You're gonna max out your 401k, 1875 a month. So in your first year, you put in 72,500. Now multiply that by two. In your first 2 years, you're at $145,000 that you have put into your 401k. You don't think that's a good down payment on something? You don't think that you could take that and, like, I would rather take the money out of my 401k, honestly. You shouldn't do it, and pay down that high end debt, that those high end credit cards that you may have, and just pay myself back at a lower interest rate and pay off the higher interest rate on them credit cards. Or you can set it up where you got your credit cards on a payment plan or what have you, so you don't take money out of the market. Like, you don't want to take the money out of the market to pay off debt, really. You want to leave that money in there so it can work for you, so it can have more time in the market. But if I can get that money out to go buy and purchase a home or purchase a multi-unit, I would do that, right? But I'm just trying to show you different ways where you could become a millionaire on your W-2. Now, let's go back to it because I don't remember it. 200,000 times times 0.25, plus that 25, plus the 22,500. All right, 72.5. Let's say it is you max that out 72,500, and it's staying there for 10 years. What do you think that's going to look like if you max that out and you stay at that job for 10 years, right? This is just your contribution, right? 725. 725. Now imagine if it's returning 10% over time, right? So let's go back to our calculator, right? 72,500. Now let's go here and say we got our time in the market 72,500. Let's say our monthly contributions to this is our 1875. Because really how it works is they just take your money and contribute that over the year. So let's go back to it. Let me go back to it. Let me do it right. My calculator. So that was it 50,000? I'm all off. Yeah, it was 50,000 times 0.25. And then let's divide that by 12. 4166 or 4167. So 4167 plus 1875. 6,042. So 6,042. And we're gonna do that in 10 years. And we're gonna say 10% return. And now let's calculate that. So in 10 years, at that rate, you could be at 1.3 million. But let's say you stay in that spot for, let's do they numbers. Let's say you do that for 40 years. In 40 years, you could be at 35 million. But let's say you get out of the game before that. Let's say you get out at 20. Do that. So at 20, you'll be at 4.6. Now, I'm only going by these numbers. They do increase more than this because your monthly contribution is going to increase because you're going to start making more money. That 200 going to turn into 210. 210 is going to turn into 220. 220 is going to turn into 250. And so some people can stay in these jobs and be in these jobs in less time, right? They because they're making more money, so they may be in here in less time. So that monthly contribution over time could go from 6,000 a month to 8,000 a month, right? So let's up that. Let's go with 8,000 a month. You're putting in 8,000 a month, and let's calculate that. Let's go back up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Am I not hitting calculate? Yeah, I guess I'm hitting calculate. 10. Yeah, it looks like I'm hitting it, but yeah, let's calculate. Okay, now let's go back and do 20 years with 8,000 a month. And let's hit calculate. And then you're at 5.98 million. But I'm just trying to show you certain jobs can lend better benefits, right? So you say, well, what job out there gives these type of that's giving these type of returns. I wouldn't say returns, but giving these type of into your 401k, right? So um there is, let me see, Boulder uh, University 200% 401k. All right. All right. So here, here is one. Let me see if I can find the other one. See if they got it down in here. So this one is a 10% of your annual compensation is contributed. You can't see that. Let me blow that up. It says it right here. 10% of your annual eligible compensation is contributed monthly. So for every dollar you invest, they invest two. Right? That's at Boulder. So again, some of these colleges have these benefit packages that are set up for you where you can get um instead of just 5% match, they're doing 10% or 25%. And that's just one college, right? Let me see if they got it in here. I'm looking for the one where they show you they did 200% into a 401k. All right, so this company here, we'll talk about Zeta Associates, right? Um, Let me see. Do they have it on here? Careers, open positions. Let me see if they talk about it in one of their positions. Nothing? Okay. Don't know what happened with that one. Oh, maybe I'm too big. I need to bring it back down. All right. Let me do this then. Let me do it this way. Open in a tab. I should open in a new window. Yeah, it won't let me. Let me download that. And then let me go find it. Because I don't know why it's acting like that. Let's pull this over to here. Downloads PDF. All right, here we go. Let me see if they got. Yeah, they don't have it in here. Anyway, they do 25% into your 401k. There's also a company. It used to be called 63 Systems, but now it's called Company 32. CACI. Used to be, like I say, used to be called Bit Systems, but now they're called Company 32. Um, Let me see if they got their. Yeah, here we go. Profit sharing right here. Uh, so how it works is a custom portfolio employees can take advantage of their choice of pre-tax and Roth after tax 50-year IRS. Okay, right here. Additionally, BITS contributes 25% of the employee's base salary into their profit sharing program, right? Profit sharing plan. And the way it works is um, your time off and your benefits and all of that come out of one big pot. You get to choose what you want to take off the holidays and so forth and so on. And over time, that adds up. It's called an IBA. I don't know if you all ever heard of it. It's called an IBA. Let me get it. IBAIRS. Let me see if they got it. If they'll bring it up. IBA, individual something. I don't have it on. It's called. I think it's called individual. It's not individual brokerage account. I forget what it's called. I forget what the IBA stands for. I forget what it stands for off the top of my head. But you want to find companies that do things like that. That's going to get you to your retirement quicker. That's going to get you to your let me see. In this firm where I have a definition of IBA. I figure they don't. I have to look it up. But Dee, if you can find that, that'd be great. I forget what it stands for. But that right there is how a lot of people create their wealth and get to that, getting to buying homes quicker, getting the protection. You get a financial planner. You get somebody helping you max out your stuff. You can go a long way with that. All right. So IBA, 25%. And let me get my charger going. It looks like that's gonna die on me. All right. So lazy investing. This is I'm strictly focused on lazy investing. You could do this inside your 401k, where you're putting away 20% into investing of your salary. And not only are you putting in 20% of your salary or maxing out your 401k, your contribution from the employer is doing more than you, right? So now, I mean, put a one in the chat if that sounds like something you would be interested in. Put a one in the chat if that sounds like something you would be interested in, right? So I was actually looking around and I wanted to see what other people were saying about becoming a millionaire. So I was on Quoria, and let me blow this up too. And I went through to see what were asking the individual benefits account. I couldn't remember what the B stood for. Um, I was looking and I said, I went on there and I said, as a millionaire, step by step, what made you rich, right? And so people responded to this question on like what they did to become a millionaire, right? What they did to become a millionaire. And I thought some of the responses were quite interesting. So somebody said, got a job at a fast growing tech company, got 10K worth of stock options. The stock grew to 100,000, sold the stock into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and the portfolio grew to 1.2 million. And I'm sure they probably cashed out by then because if they didn't, there was a big ride down. And this was a year ago, right? So let me see what there was some more response to this. Let me actually click on this one here. Not that one. Let me see. Because it was more, but somebody asked about how did you become a millionaire? That was one comment. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. All right. Let's go here to the comment. Oh, that was a comment there. Oh, here's one here. I don't know how far back this one goes. So this one, I was broke post divorce, 24 years old, a failure in 2006. I took a fairly low wage but extremely stable job as a construction inspector. As by the time I was a licensed electrician in 2008, the financial pressure of the recession coupled with bills carried over and forced out. In 2020, I had built enough credit back. I walked into the bank and I only ever had a checking account, a very modest one. I had been made aware of a foreclosed home that was coming for sale. There was no way I could qualify for a home loan, but I had no bills. The ones I the ones I did have paid. I told the bank of my story. and he approved me for an auto loan of 40,000 to buy this house and pay over 6 years. And it just looks like this person got married. He told her a plan, and they were 70. There were 74 two-bedroom foreclosures in my little town of Fall Spring. I found a home and walked into the same broker. I had a ton of equity in the home, and I had bought due to paying it back so fast. I then explained to him that I thought I could buy this home for 19,000, fix the roof, and lease it. I thought it would appraise for 40,000 plus finished. I only had one issue. I had no money. I asked for a loan. He said he would not. We don't do that. And looking back now, it's unusual, but it was God's favor. He agreed to do it one time. If it doesn't appraise out, he said it won't work. My dad told me I was crazy, but I put nearly the last $1,000 we had as a deposit on it. I bought the home, did the repairs, saved enough to keep 2,000 on the loan. God provided a wonderful tenant and 550 over a month over 4 years, and it looks like they were doing the real estate investing back and forth. And he's got a long thing. I ain't gonna read all of this, but it's long. But I just wanted to show you like different people. He's got a long one. Different people have done different things in order to make their investments and stuff come true to become a millionaire. This one for myself, it was setting up multiple streams of income, invested heavily in my career, professional development, paid out of pocket and personal time, increased my income primarily over 500% over 20 years. And that's what I want to really focus on this week is how can you be a W-2 millionaire? How can you be some people want to be an entrepreneur and be a millionaire, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And some of you don't even want to touch that. So how do you become a W-2 millionaire, right? How do you become a W-2 millionaire? Um, you can become a W-2 millionaire in multiple ways by heavily investing and just investing and working. And when I say investing, meaning investing into your brokerage account as well, like the excess money after you make so much money, you have to find another way to invest that money in terms of taxes. So again, let's say you make 300,000 and they're contributing 25% and you max out at your 22.5. You still have money left over to contribute to a brokerage account. You start just saying, I'm going to invest like Warren Buffett. And you go find all the stocks that Warren Buffett is invested in and you just max those out and you just ride that out. You could do that. You could say, okay, I'm just going to invest into these few ETFs and that's all I'm doing and ride that out. You could say, I'm not doing no stocks. I'm going to buy at least two homes every 2 years. Why? Because my 401k will allow me to buy those two homes every 2 years because I can use that down payment in order to do that. And you can then turn and have that house build up equity in it, get the equity out of that house, pay back that loan, and then take that money and then go buy another one. So it's multiple ways to do this. And now your net worth goes from being just, 200,000 to being over a million. And you can do that all on your W-2. But with the right set of skills and the right company. With the right set of skills and the right company. All right. But I wanted to give you that thought process on how you could take your 40K and make that 40K work. But I really prefer you to be at 200K so that you all can increase your investment potential and get to being and getting your retirement set up quicker. Um, the average retirement that's needed for single women is 2.5 million. They say 1.6 million for men. I don't see why it would be any different. I'm just gonna call it an even 2 million in retirement. That's with 3% or 4% drawdown every year. Um, and having your house paid for already, your car paid for already, keeping your bills low, less than 5,000 a month, and then able to ride that on out. But the other issue is we are living longer, so you have to have more money in retirement to live, and also um, being able to take care of yourself. Some people out there are mean and nasty parents. Oh, it's still 200K. It's never not 200K. But I know for some people, getting to 200K is something they don't want to do. So I'm putting it back down to showing people who don't want to do the 200K what they can do. All right. So now let's get into this. All right. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, yeah. Let's get into this. Speaking of housing, let's talk about that. Okay. So according to Fortune, hopefully they'll let me look at it. I don't know. It may not. We'll see. We're about to find out if it comes up. It's act like it's getting stuck, like it don't want to do nothing here. Let me see if I can get it to do something on another screen because it's not coming up. All right, let's go here. How much salary for 600K home? All right, here we go. What is the income? What income is required for a 600K mortgage to afford a house that costs 600K with 20% down, which is equal to 120,000? You would need to earn just under 90,000 per year before tax. Now, that's not true because there's another one that came out and said you would need to earn around 250 is what it said. But again, the one that we saw on the one here, yeah, this one here. How much money you need to make to afford a 600K home? All right, let's get into it. This one here, because that's not because they all got different opinions here. Let's pull this up. Let's make this a little larger there. All right, cool. For the first time home buyer, settling on the right time to buy feels a bit like a losing game, especially in the current market. Record high inflation paired with steep interest rates and declining supply of new homes have made the road from renter to homeowner a bit more challenging. And renters are paying more than homeowners right now with mortgages. But good news is that no matter what's happening with the economy, there are moves you can make to make sure that you can comfortably afford your dream home when the right one comes along. All right, so let's get into it. As it stands, the most recent data from the Fed shows that the median sales price of houses sold in the U.S. is around 467,000. So roughly about 467 to 500,000 is really what you're seeing for a sale of a home, and that's in the final quarter of 2022. In the second half of 2022, higher than normal interest rates pushed U.S. homes prices down to 2.5%, down 2.5%. U.S. home prices are falling for the first time since 2012. All right, to catch the decline, this decline was preceded by a 30% increase in home prices between 2022, I guess part of quarters here. To add insult to injury, the cost of everyday expenses are on the rise and could make it increasingly difficult for home buyers to cover upfront costs of buying a home. This is why I say your 401k is probably going to be your better bet, or you could be liquid cash, but it's probably going to be your better bet, or you could always do wholesaling, right? So let's get into this. So how much do you need to make a to make to afford a home, right? Your home value shouldn't be no more than two or two and a half times your salary. This means if you're making 100,000, you shouldn't purchase a home with a value of 200,000 or 250,000, right? Following this logic, you need to earn at least 300,000 a year to buy a $600,000 home, which is twice your salary. Other rules say you should aim to spend less than 28% of your pre-tax monthly income on a mortgage. Says here. Other rules say you should aim to spend less than 28% of your pre-tax monthly income. So 28%. Let's go back to the calculator. Let's do a pre-tax on it. Right? So of 300,000 times 0.28. So that's 84,000. So it says you shouldn't use, other rules say you shouldn't aim to spend less than 28% of your pre-tax monthly. So I'm assuming we divide this by 12. It says 7,000. So I don't know. I may be doing that wrong. That don't seem right. Spend less than 28% of your pre-tax monthly. And that came out to 84,000. So that's just a general guidelines, and the exact amount you can afford to comfortably pay each month will depend on your financial obligations. So, however, using the 28-36 rule as your framework, you're setting your budget. You should aim to have a mortgage payment that does not exceed 28% of your total tax monthly gross, also known as your front end ratio. The rule also holds that your total debt payments should be no more than 36% of your total monthly income. So here's the thing. So your purchase price is 600,000. Your down payment is 36,000 or 6% of the total purchase price over 30 years, and your interest rate is 6.5. And this was in February of 2023. Your monthly mortgage payment is around 35.65 per month. To calculate it, to calculate if you'll comfortably afford that payment, you will need to know your front and back end ratios. Your front end ratio is percentage of your monthly income that goes towards your mortgage payment. Your back end ratio is percentage of your income allocated toward paying other debt. This means your gross income would need to be a minimum of 156,000 per year or around 13,000 per month to keep your monthly mortgage payment below 28% threshold and have a little wiggle room, is important, right? It's important to note that the house ownership costs, like other property taxes, homeowners insurance, flood insurance, homeowners association, can skew your budget and account for a greater portion of your income. Before buying, consider the following. You can use the previously mentioned 28-36 rule, 28%, 28% front end, 36 on the back end rule to give you a general idea of how much you could expect to pay for a home, right? And some of you all need this right here. I'm gonna give D this link and you all can look at that for yourselves. But some of y'all need this in terms of knowing what you can do and how much you can spend, and also how much you're gonna need to invest as well too. Because some of you like to buy luxury homes, but 600,000 may not be a luxury home in some places. In some places, it might be a luxury home. It depends on the location, right? Depends on the location. All right, let's keep going. See what time we got here. All right. So here's a question for you. How many of you believe that um making more money is wealth? Right? Making more money wealth. All right. So I pulled this article from Charles Schwab this morning, and let me blow it up some more. Yeah. It says wealth is more than money. Wealth is more than money. The meaning of wealth goes far beyond having a lot of money. It's more about what money can do for you, right? What does it mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? What does wealth mean to you all? Put in the chat what wealth means to you. What does wealth mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? Right? And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. We appreciate you. And don't forget to share this content out too. Creole lady, you're not late. You're not late. All right. What does wealth mean to you? Right? It says if you're like many Americans, your wealth goes far beyond having a lot of money. It's more about what can money do for you. At Schwab, every year we survey 1,000 Americans on what it means to feel wealthy. In our 2023 Modern Wealth Survey, I find it encouraging and that finding confirms that this view feeling and being wealthy is about much more than a bank account balance, right? It's about choice, control, and clarity. Also social life, family, career balance, flexibility, experiences, and good health, right? And I agree with that. I don't think you can have I don't think you can have I don't think you can go without any of those things, right? You got to have some type of happiness, you got to have some type of wealth, you got to have something, right? So let's discuss the key findings as you invest, build, and manage and use wealth, right? And in the chat, what's your wealth number? D, put in the chat what your wealth number is. When would you consider yourself wealthy? Monetarily wise, what's your number? I'm just talking about a number. And that number could be calculated any kind of way. It could be a million, but it could be you got 200,000 in a house, you got 400,000 in a bank account, you got 300,000 in a HSA, whatever. Just tell me what your number is. Would you consider yourself wealthy? Would you consider yourself? Now, what society deems as wealthy, but yourself? 2.5. D say you wealthy. D, that's not a number. I said a number. D, I'm gonna need a number. D, part of being wealthy is listening. Part of being wealthy is listening, right? So what money can and can't buy, all right? When it comes to feeling wealthy, survey respondents increasingly say that they place value and lean into things that money can't buy. 62% of the survey respondents enjoy healthy relationships with loved ones. Better describes wealth than having a lot of money. I can agree with that. Clearly, money helps. Otherwise, why would any of us save and invest? But in the emotional yin and yang of finances and investing, it can be freedom and ownership that money can buy that provides the choice and control many of us aim for. Saving and investing is the path to that freedom. A higher percentage, 70%, agreed that said that wealth is more about not having to stress over money than having more of it. Having the ability and the flexibility to do what you want to when you want to. You say you get laid off and you're like, well, I'm going to take the next 6 months off and don't stress about the next 6 months. You're like, okay, it is what it is. Some people get stressed out over those next 6 months because one, they don't have the skill sets to re-enter back in the market, or they don't have enough money saved up to be off that long. So that's why I tell you, have money set aside for a year or two so you can flex how you want to flex. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go back to work in 3 months, but I think I'm going to go play a little bit. I think I'm going to do some traveling, right? Again, having money doesn't hurt. Having enough, though, and managing it well, retire and achieve financial needs can reduce stress, increases confidence, and provides more choice and control. What's wealthy to you, Tracy? The flexibility to take off for a year or something like that? What wealth means to me. When asked to choose what statement best describes how Americans think of wealth, More Americans say not to stress over money, 70%. Enjoying experiences, 70%. Having healthy work life balance, 69%. Being in good health, 63%. Enjoying healthy relationships with family and loved ones, 62. Having a lot of money was 38%. Being successful, 37%. Maximizing my earnings, even if it impacts my work life balance, 31. Owning many nice things, 30%, and having more money than most people I know, 30%. Yeah, take off 3 to 6 months without a word. Yep, yep. What's particularly interesting is that those surveyed mentioned well being 40% over money or assets when describing what it means to be wealthy. And they did this not by choosing their favorite answer to a multiple choice question, but their own words. Well being takes discipline and planning. Yep, we need that. You need to plan. I'm trying to get y'all into the fact of planning now, like planning over time, uh, maxing out your 401k, maxing out your HSA, and we're gonna get into that here in a minute, right? What does it mean to have a plan? How many of y'all have ever thought about a plan? Do you have a 5 year plan, a 10 year plan? Let's pull this up right quick, and then we'll get ready to end the show. I yeah, we'll get well. Yeah, I can. I guess I can wait on these. I'll talk about some other stuff on the other show. I can pull that on the other show because it's still relevant. But let's talk about this, right? So Zapier's automation is the easiest. That's fine. Let me do this real quick. Let me switch over. And let's mute that. And let's make this volume up. And let's come back. All right. So your HSA, right? I talked about this before. And your HSA is going to save you for a lot of things. Max out that HSA, 3850, or is it 3870? I think it's 3850. Single, 7300 married. Max out your HSA. Why? Because you can utilize that for those of y'all that have dental work that needs to get done, for those that have untimed medical expenses, for those that need to get some prescriptions or something of that nature. At least you have your HSA, and it can play in the market as well too. And you can set it up to play in the market, so that way, say you max out your HSA. Let's look at that. Let's look at that because it's 3850. We're just gonna play with some numbers. Let's go back to our investor .gov. Let's do our compound interest calculator. Let's say you do 3850, and let's say you put in I think it's I think it's 150 a month. Well, we'll just do 150 a month. And let's say you do that for the next 20 years. And let's say it returns 7%. Let's calculate that. So that's 88,000, right? Not a lot of money, not a lot. But when you're retired and you got to pay for finances, I mean, you got to pay for your medical stuff, that helps. But not only that, this 88,000 could be another source of income. It could be another source of income. So let me go and look at 3850 a month. Let me make sure I get that calculated right. Let me do that. 3850 divided by 12. 320. All right, so let's go back up here and change this to 320. Now we do that over 20 years with 7%, 172,000. So your HSA at the age of 65 could then you can pull down from that and not have to use it just for medical at all. That could be just another source of income for you as well too, right? Whether you pull down, 500 a month from it or something like that. Imagine if you had, that extra money to pull out of on top of your 401k. Remember now, we still have our 401k that we're pulling off of. We still got our investment properties that we're pulling from as well too that will make generating income. We also have our HSA that we're doing, and we still have our brokerage account that's working for us. And this all can be done on your W 2, but you're going to need to maximize your skills, and you're going to need to maximize your actual investment opportunities. You have to maximize those, right? So let's go back to the video here. Let's make this widescreen, big screen, and go.
Next question is from Seaborg. When is it most strategic to reimburse expenses from HSA in retirement? More tax-free growth is better, but I'm not sure if there are potential estate planning issues if we wait too long to reimburse ourselves. I know last week, Bo, you were raving about the HSA. Now Brian's here. You guys can answer this together.
He hasn't seen that highlight clip yet.
I haven't seen it.
I went in hard because you weren't here to defend yourself, and it was awesome.
So great.
Seaborg, it's a really interesting question. And me and Brian, because we're super nerdy, we had this question one time too. Hey, okay, what if we accumulate all these health savings expenses and we accumulate, and then we die? Does all that tax-free money go away? Does that mean it's not there? No, that's not the case. We actually verified that a decedent's estate, the person who passed away's estate, can receive those tax-free distributions to reimburse for those expenses. So that's not a concern.
And that's the other thing, tax free. Yeah, that's the other thing, tax free, right? Let me pull that up from the IRS so you can see HSA IRS. Right? So here, HSA and other tax favored health plans, right? Let me see what are the benefits of an HSA. All right, what are the benefits? This is from the IRS. And let me make sure what it looks like on your screen and on my screen. All right, that's a little better. Now I got to find out where it's at. And let me go back up to the top because I'm changed the size of my screen. All right, that's FSA, MSA. Oh God, I don't made it too big. Here we go, right here. All right, there we go. All right, what are the benefits of an HSA? You can claim a tax deduction for your contributions or someone other than the employer make to your HSA, even if you don't itemize your deductions. Contributions to your HSA made by your employer may be excluded from your gross income. The contributions remain in your account until you use them. The interest of the other earnings on the assets in your account are tax free. The distributions may be tax free if you pay qualified medical expenses. And the HSA is portable. It stays with you if you change employers or leave the workforce. So that extra money that you got sitting aside and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to the casino with it, throw it in your HSA, right? So um, with your HSA, they don't have any more. Let me go back up. HSA. Let's look see what else they got on here. Um, Qualified HSA funding distribution. Let's go there. So, and let's blow this up. Okay, this is an example. It said, oh, hopefully I didn't mess it up. Oh, let me go back down. Ah, let me find it again. Let me find it. All right. The example is you turned 65 in July of 2022 and you enrolled in Medicare. You had an HDHP, and they explained it earlier. So for right now, I'll go back and get you that. But wait a minute. With self only coverage and eligible for an additional contribution of $1,000. Your contribution limit is 2325. All right, so a qualified HSA funding distribution may be made from your traditional IRA or your Roth IRA to your HSA. The distribution can't be made from an ongoing SEP IRA or simple IRA, but you can make it from your Roth IRA. I wonder if you can make it from your Roth 401k. For this purpose, SEP IRA or simple IRA is an ongoing if the employer contribution is made for the plan year ending within the tax year. And what I wanted to see was this, what I was hoping it was going to show me was you turn 65, you have your HSA. There's no RMDs required for that. You don't have to take any required minimum distributions out. You could then utilize that HSA for something else. We did the calculation on that HSA over here. Well, we could have an HSA in 20 years of $172,000, provided that every year we max out the 3850, we contribute 320 a month, and we let it ride for 20 years. You could have, and you're getting a return of 7% compounded annually. You could be at 172. Yep, it's a guy with a H. It was some guys with an HSA of $500 million. Yep. Now the question is he married? Here's what happens when you're married. So when you're married, you have 7,300 that you put in. And now we got to get the calculator out because I don't even know what that is divided by 12. So 7,300 divided by 12. So you're sticking in 608 a month. So you got 608 you putting in a month. Multiply that by 20 years and compound 7% annually. And now let's calculate that. So the 320,000. So he could be married. If he's married, that would make sense. So in that HSA, you could have almost $500,000 in 20 years. Now, let's say you're in your 20s. Let's say you're 25. Some of our audience is 25. And let's say they have this HSA, and let's say you got married at 26 and you got 25. I mean, let's say you got married at 25 and you get your HSA at 26 and y'all stay married. And let's say y'all do this for 40 years on an HSA. Calculate that. You can have 1.5 million in your HSA. Now, what I didn't include in this 7,300 may go up every year. It's 7,300 right now for a married couple. Let's say you're 25. Let's do your 3850. You're not married, and you do your 320, and you got it in there for 40 years. And then let's calculate that. You'll have, look at this, look how big of a difference that is. 824,000. But you can have almost $1 million just sitting in your HSA and just putting it in there. Just I'm putting there, I'm putting there, just throw that in there, right? So that's just one way, right? For your HSA. Now, what they were talking about here in the video, if you pass away, how do you handle your HSA when you pass away? What can you do if you pass away with your and you pass away? How can your estate handle that HSA? That's what they were showing there, right? So let me go back to it. Where did I do with it at? Let me minimize this, minimize that. It's right here. All right.
Well, so the question is then, Brian, when's the most strategic way or when's the most strategic time to pull money out of your health savings accounts? Well, when we talk about, this is sort of like generalized advice. We talk about the accumulation phase. When you think about the financial order of operations, Brian, you want to hold the thing up for me real quick? When you think about the financial order of operations, the way that you generally fill the bucket is you put your tax-free stuff in first. You start your Roth. And then you do your employer stuff, save the match. I know free money comes first, but you do the tax-free stuff, and then you do the tax-deferred stuff. And then what goes on top is the taxable stuff. Well, generally speaking, and this is very generalized, when you get into retirement, when you get into decumulation, you pour it out. If it went in that way, you pour it out the way it would naturally come out. The taxable stuff comes out first, then the pre-tax stuff comes out, then the tax-free stuff comes out at the very end. So I would argue the best time, if you're thinking about maximizing and optimizing growth for your HSA assets to come out, is as late as possible, as long as you can wait. Now, the caveat I'll throw out with that is generally as we age, when we get to retirement, when we get to age 60, 65, 70, 75, we naturally have more healthcare expenses. That's just the way that life works. And so if you have this pot of money that's there to pay for healthcare expenses, and you also have these 401ks and these IRAs, these taxable accounts that are also growing, I don't think it's crazy when you get into retirement to pull that money as needed. Start pulling it out to reimburse yourself as it's needed. And then if you just find out that you're healthy and you're not accumulating enough expenses and your account's so big, well then, yeah, maybe you need to have a strategy to figure out when to pull those tax-free dollars out. But my very long answer to this very short question was, I think in retirement, you can pull out the HSA dollars when you need them as you accumulate expenses.
Well, it's like all things financial planning. It's very nuanced in the fact that I think because you said it earlier, is that the optimal strategy, the maximizing strategy is just let the money work as long as it can. So truthfully, you wouldn't even get the benefit. It would be your heirs, but that's not ideal. So I wrote down some quick notes. I said, get wealthy versus stay wealthy. I think that while you are in the wealth building journey, yeah, you want that money growing and building, assuming you have the cash flow, the ability to front end pay those medical expenses and track all those receipts. You should do that. That's why I'm letting my money just build up in the background. I'm investing, letting it grow through all this volatility. But then there will come a point, and this is what Bo was alluding to the stay wealthy side, where now you need to allocate your resources well. But let me give you a few examples. Fidelity every year offers out what how much medical expenses are likely to cost retirees. It's something we cover in a lot of our content. It's high. It's a few $100,000.
How much healthcare will cost it?
Well, yeah, medical expenses. Yeah, it's a lot of money. So I mean, so you will get to a point, but also there's some unique things that happen in retirement. The fact that you can do Roth conversion strategies. There's some really cool things that come down the pipe that you're like, well, hey, why don't I see if I can turn some of these tax deferred assets into tax free assets? Because the reason that's the last thing that falls out of your pots of money is because that has great long-term legacy planning opportunities as well, because it's growing tax-free. So that might come when you're looking at all your pots of money and you want to allocate well. You might look at that HSA and be, man, I have a ton of receipts. I've had tons of time for that money to grow. I could reimburse myself and still have a lot of money left over in that account to keep working. You're going to know that the optimized best dollar to use is that HSA dollar. Or you actually get into retirement and those $250,000 of expenses are starting to pile up and you're like, man, I am going to go ahead and start using this account because this is the time to use it. It's tax-free. It's for medical expenses. This will be great to maximize that compounding. That's the way I would look at it. All money is nuanced in the fact that you really need to kind of put your mindset as am I in the get wealthy phase? And then your mindset will change once you stay wealthy, because they're not related to each other completely, because realize 80% of millionaires are first generation. And then, but and this is why I have this conversation with my oldest daughter all the time. But it's so sad that 70% of that wealth that was created in the first generation is gone by the kids. 90% of the wealth is gone by the grandkids. So there's a natural cleansing process that occurs with wealth that stay wealthy needs to be paid attention to well. And that's why these things, I know this was an
This is a key thing he said right there. 90% of the money is gone by the time. Like you do all this, you do all these things, you make all this wealth, and you hand this wealth over to the next generation, and it gets squandered away because they don't have the experience, they haven't been taught, and then whatever's left over gets that passed down to the next one, and it's gone. It's and you gotta another generation, excuse me, has to start all over again, right? That's a problem. But before we get out of here, I want to address something that just came up. Like, let me switch over here. And I'm assuming this person watches the show.
You've got an amazing business idea.
But I want to address this comment here. Let me go to the channel and let me address this comment live, but I already responded. But I'm gonna address the comment live. Right. So Key Bang, you're the highlight reel for the day. You may watch the show, you may not. You may see this and you may not. But Key Bang, I wanna address you right now. So let's blow up Key Bang and what Key Bang says. Oh, good old Key Bang. Key Bang 3273. I want to address you right now. And I addressed you in the comment. Key Bang says, and this is on a Foolish Finance Friday show that Key Bang responded to this, but I'm gonna address you here. Key Bang says, why should people get into tech when you can make YouTube channels and become a millionaire without staying up late trying to pass a test? You probably won't get paid half of the money for getting the cert. Read it again. Key Bang says, Key Bang Bang says, why should you get into tech when you can make YouTube channels and become a millionaire without staying up late trying to pass a test? You probably won't get paid half of the money for getting the certs. So, first off, Key Bang, you don't have to do a damn thing in tech. You don't. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to come to tech. You don't have to take no certs. You don't have to stay up late. You can make YouTube channels. But if I'm not mistaken, there are over, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 50 million YouTube channels. And not all of them are millionaires, right? So the question becomes is, do people like you enough for them to tune into you and become a millionaire? Are you getting sponsorships, advertising, and so forth? And if you are, congratulations. Bang, bang. However, either way it go, what you don't realize is you're using tech anyway to become a millionaire. That is the funny part about it. You using tech anyway to become a millionaire. That's what's funny about it. The algorithm, the advertisements, the AdSense, the content, the promotions, the hopping on people channels, the StreamYard, the Restream. Either way it go, buddy, or ma'am, or sir, them, they, he, she, we, bang, bang, you still using tech. That's the funny part about it. You still using tech. I'm just saying. So when you say why should people get into tech, I thought your comment was actually funny, because you're using tech to become a millionaire. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. Keybank. Let's see. Let's click on Keybank. I'm assuming you got another channel or something like that, but Keybank, you don't have no videos. And that's all the shine you get here today, Keybank. I wanted to make sure I addressed you in the comment without me just putting the comment down there. I want to address you directly. You still would have to have tech anyway. So you still use tech. Either way it goes. So again, in order to become a millionaire, there are multiple ways. I've talked about it. I'm just simply saying if you're going to be a W-2 person, maximize your skill sets to maximize your uh, input, your return, your ROI on your skill sets. You are a brand. Make that money work for you. Max out your HSA. We just did the numbers. Max out your 401k. Find companies that are willing to have a good benefits package, invest in you. Stop going for the conference. Stop going for the companies that got the 4% and the 6%. If they got it, cool. But look for companies at the 10%. Look for companies that's putting in 200%. Go find those companies. Again, you don't have to do tech and get the certs, but you're gonna use tech to make the millions. And on that note, I'm out. Bang bang.